It is a very interesting development for the country because we're seeing a lot of this mushrooming of churches which are not regulated. And I think for the Commission to be taking a bold step to engage and also to, seek a remedy for the situation that we're seeing, it's very noble. And I think we need lots of national dialogues around these issues, especially in communities, because people are seeking hope. And some of these, emerging churches are promising, hope restoration, and some of them are selling blessings. Some of them, are making people feel they belong. So they have a role to play. However, it needs to be monitored because some people, out of ignorance, become obedient to things which are harmful to themselves. Well, I just feel like the Commission should not feel at loss, because if there isn't a law that deals with regulating the religious practices that we're seeing emerging these days, there needs to be a new, attempt to look at regulations, to look at a new policy if there isn't one, so that as a country we can have something that safeguards and promotes, healthy relationships between people and the so-called men of God that we see, being on pulpit saying, we know God. People have figured God out. So we need a policy that would actually help people subscribe to certain norms and standards. We need to know the credentials of the people who say they are the men of God. Where did they study? What values do they subscribe to? There has to be a criteria in which either there is a board that regulates who can come into the profession of preaching, whether somebody is really an honorable person or they're masquerading as a man of God. It leaves a lot of people at risk. So I feel it is very important that as a country, there is actually a law that we use to enforce religious practices, so that nobody is, left susceptible to harmful practices like we see now with the current churches, where people are just falling, whether it's magic, whether it's really the Holy Spirit. We cannot dispute that. I mean, even in the Bible, some people saying there are contradictions in the Bible. However, there are some very interesting chapters, especially the Gospel of St. Paul, where he's saying to people in Thessalonica and in the Ephesians, saying, you need to discern which of the teachings are actually good. If there's anything that is harmful and evil, stay away from it.